Greetings, hockey fans. Well, I hope you're sitting down for this one as you rub your eyes in disbelief and pick your jaw up off the floor, but I am playing APBA Hockey. Now, some of you may remember that a couple of years ago I got APBA Hockey and I did a series of videos tearing it apart, and shortly after I punted the game back onto eBay. But just recently, a fellow gamer and fellow Seals fan from California gifted me his game along with the 75-76 season, which was the Seals' last season before moving to Cleveland. And I gave it another shot because of some of the videos I watched about some modifications and chart adjustments by a fellow named Mike Berger to streamline some aspects of the game, and also videos by Tebow and some guy named Dave Gardner. I don't know. So by going through all that, I gave the game a second chance, and I actually like it now. So far I've just been playing some one-off games to make sure I have all the rules down, because there even with the modified charts, there still is a lot to this game before I attempt some kind of project. So I think even with the adjustments, the game is still probably taking me about half-hour a period. But I'm finding that this is the first game that takes longer than an hour to play that is actually going to make the cut and hold my interest. So some of the things I've done to try to streamline the play, like I'm trying to avoid using the booklet because it involves a lot of flipping to get to the charts. So what I did is I put the forecheck 2 chart, which is what you use most of the time, and the defensive zone offense defense charts all on one page. Because I find I use those more often, because in the book it will have forecheck 2 along with forecheck 3 and forecheck 1, which is like a pressure offense and a shut them down defense that you would use at the end of the game. Since I don't use those that often, I will likely put those on a different sheet. Now, as far as the forecheck 2 chart, I did incorporate some of the adjustments from the Mike Berger penalty chart onto here, and I'm still kind of up in the air about using some of the Deer Valley Gaming Company charts, which I printed all of them out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to incorporate any of this into the game. Now, one modification that the Deer Valley Game Company has is that one of the things I was complaining about is the numbers 16 through 29 are just an interception to the opposition without any kind of defensive check. And at first, that really bothered me about the game, but the more I thought about it, they probably really shouldn't be called interceptions. They're more along the lines of a giveaway, since it's coming off the puck carrier's card. Now, a top player is going to have very few, if any at all, of 16 through 29 results on their card, which just means they're not likely to cough up the puck, whereas a fourth line player who's maybe out there as a goon, he's going to have a lot of these numbers, meaning he just turns over the puck. So it's really not testing the defender's defense rating as far as them being able to intercept it. It's more reflecting the offensive player's ability to hold on to the puck and not make a bad pass or a turnover. So that started to make more sense to me now, and especially if I was complaining because you could have an entire 2-line line shift where all you have is 16 through 29 results and the puck is just going back and forth. But as I look at it now, it's no different than the 3-minute lull that you have in Hockey Blast, or even inside the crease you could have a third or fourth line out there, and you could just keep picking 1 to 40 fast action card numbers in their pass range, where they're just moving the puck around and nothing is happening. So I've kind of come to terms with that, and there is a modification on the Deer Valley charts where when those interception numbers come up 16 to 29, you do have the option of checking the puck carrier's assist rating at the bottom of the card against the indicated opponent, their defense rating. Now in the Deer Valley, they say if the assist rating beats the defender's defense rating, then it's not an interception, it's just a pass to a teammate. So in that case, the puck carrier's team still holds on to the puck. I was doing that in a couple of practice games, but I'm thinking the game will probably just move faster if I just allow the interception to happen. Because if it's going to be a pass, it should really be a pass X, meaning you mark off a 30-second time segment. Because if you're allowing it to be a pass that would occur in other aspects of the game, you don't mark off a time segment, and I think that would probably increase the offense if you're having times where the offense holds on to the puck, where the intent of the game in numbers 16 through 29 is it for it to be a turnover and a time segment. So I think I'm just going to allow the interception and the turnover to stand and mark off a time segment, just to not have the game go on too long. So as far as the problems I had with the game the first time around, I mean, I like the player cards, you know, the good quality card stock, and I like the rounded corners, but I still have a problem with these numbers on the bottom being too small to read. And even these numbers in this middle section here, if you go on eBay and you look up where people are selling team cards, the first version of the game that they put out that didn't have these advanced numbers on the bottom, these numbers in the middle here were done in a larger font. So I don't know why, when they decided to make all these additions to the game and have these numbers on the bottom, I don't know why they decided to make this font smaller. You know, the forecheck, face-off, shot range, shot frequency. They could have kept it the same font size, because again, these numbers are really too small. But that's really my only other criticism, because like I said, I had criticisms about the bottom numbers on the charts being cut off by the spiral binder here. But since I'm probably at some point going to move all the charts onto single charts like this, I'm in the process of making up a chart for the alternate rare play chart that this Dave Gardner guy, I don't know, and you might have heard of him, this Dave Gardner guy come up with, and that will be a lot more compact than the excessive rare plays they have in here. And some of them you really wouldn't even call them rare plays, it's just saved by the goalie, or there's a ton of injuries on there. So I'm working into that. And I also put the, well, here's the offense defense, but I put it on here. I got the goalie chart right here, so I don't have to flip a page. And I may retype it in my own version. Yeah, here's the original forecheck chart. And what I did here is for the, instead of using the ODAI, where you're using the entire team defense, I am using the individual opponent defense, and I'm using the chart. I think this is from Mike Berger, and the ODAI adjustment you're making on the chart according to the individual defender, whether he's a 4 all the way down to a 0. And I also recopied the assist chart onto here, the wide shot, the block shots, and the fight opponents. So this is all in one place on one card. I'm still going to probably make more adjustments as far as these charts go to try to make them more compact and not having to do too much chart flipping in the book. But as far as gameplay, I've probably played, I don't know, 5 or 6 one-off games from this season. And I never found the gameplay to be tedious. I mean, you had Boston against the Scouts, second-year Scouts who were terrible. Boston wins 10-3. Shots were 50-25, and the in-range shots were 20-4. So I couldn't really say that the game was unrealistic, because the Scouts did get, you know, their share of beatings. Had Don Marcotte and Brad Park with hat tricks, 2 goals for Jean Rattel, and a shorthanded for Marcotte. And let's see, you had St. Louis and Minnesota. St. Louis a little bit under 500. Minnesota was really bad. Turned out to be a 4-4 tie. Gary Unger had to tie it up for St. Louis with the extra attacker on in the final 30 seconds. And for Minnesota, 2 goals from Glenn Sather, who I had on the 4th line. He had a shorthanded. Toronto at Montreal, that was 4-1. And in this game, you could really see the difference in a elite goaltender like Ken Dryden versus Wayne Thomas for Toronto. And Wayne Thomas was getting a lot of results that resulted in, after a save, a shot on goal for the opponent, or a rebound result in which you had to see whether it went to the opponent or your own team. Whereas Dave Dryden didn't give up any results like that. Any saves that Dryden made went to a teammate. So you really felt the difference between an elite goalie and an average goalie. And in this game, pretty wild with the penalties. I think we had like 58 minutes. Tiger Williams and Doug Riseborough with a fight, and then the game ended, the final 30 seconds, with Tiger Williams and Mario Tremblay going at it, with Williams getting a minor and the misconduct. So that felt like a 70s game right there. This game was pretty wild. Montreal at Washington at the second-year Capitals, who were still terrible. The game was 0-0 for 2 periods, and Montreal was out shooting them on the shots on goal side, but the Capitals had the edge in in-range shots. So the scoreless tie was finally broken by Yvan Cornway 6 minutes in, and it was 1-0 until the final 30 seconds. Caps pulled the goalie, Tommy Williams ties it up to make it 1-1 in regulation. So I decided to play overtime for this game, and Steve Shutt on a tip-in, a minute 30 in, the Canadiens win. But still, the Canadiens ended up out-shooting them 45-18, but the Capitals had the edge in range shots 7-6. So this was a really exciting game. And, well, the one game I want to forget right here, I had Vancouver at my Seals. 10-4 Vancouver. So Vancouver had a former Seal, Gary Smith, in net. And the Seals had Gary Simmons, who I know from experience could either run very hot or very cold, because I saw a horrific 10-1 game in real life at Nassau Coliseum with Simmons in goal. So Simmons laid up 3 goals in a minute 30 in the first period. I finally pulled him when it was 7-1. I brought Malash in, but they have almost identical cards because their stats were very close that year. But so it ended up 10-4. 4 different players on Vancouver had 2 goals. Shots were 34-24, and the in-range shots were 15-5 in favor of Vancouver. So that's a game I want to forget. But hey, you know, that's the Seals did have some upsets this season, but they also did get hammered some games. So let's see what I have up now. The next game I have on tap is the Flyers, Stanley Cup winning Flyers against a horrible Detroit team. Going to put Ed Jockman in goal, see what happens there. So I think that's it for APBA Hockey. It's now on the table, and I'm going to play a few more one-off games and make sure I got the rules down. And I'm not sure what I might do yet. I have the I did buy the 70-71 season and 74-75 WHA. I'll probably do a separate video where I go through the teams and I just review all the cards and the ratings on those. So I don't know, I might replay the 70-71 Bruins, which I've done with at least 3 other games, see what kind of results I get. And so that's it. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.